They've had one winning season in the last 8 years.
Hi, buddy.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
in the world?
Yeah, but then after it's over, then
You're awesome.
big win, buddy.
Well, these fans don't know the difference. Most of these fans
Yes,
don't.
yes.
They don't know
Yeah,
who this.
that'd be great.
They don't care.
That'd be great. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate you.
You can't watch half the game anyway. I mean, they'll have bounce here, by God.
They don't know who's good and who's bad. This is listen. This is bad football. They're not. I mean, I've had to figure out some other things to talk about because they're so bad.
Well,
I
you
mean,
can't
there's
talk
bad.
about it because it ain't been played. But
We have 4 players.
I know your thoughts
We
and
have
I
4
know my
players
thoughts.
for player
Well,
of the week.
they're. I mean, I don't get it.
It's a win,
I guess. And we're gonna pay what, $1 million, $1.5 million?
Yeah, man, it's a win.
Well, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for them to go to 9 games in the league. It looks like they're going to do that because this year,
Troy.
8 games and playing 4 of these teams. Well, my God, you're playing 4 right now. You win 2 more and you go to a bowl game. I mean, what is that?
You also have to double
Is the
click.
laptop
We're going to
connected to the network?
What is that all about?
never have so many been led by so few who know so
Okay, yeah,
little.
hey, Aaron, it looks like the laptop
I
is not
wouldn't buy a
connected.
ticket to that game over there. If they gave me
This is what we had last
10, I
week.
wouldn't be going.
Oh, you got to do that. Okay.
Oh,
Like Jeff
Lord.
Ford had before we took pictures last week.
It has to go in there.
Yeah, I'd much rather be talking about playing
I think that was the network cable. Did you have a black network cable last week?
Houston or somebody else that can play. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that can play that.
I mean, the damn tickets get higher.
Think that's it?
And the team played lower. I don't
Okay, Donnie's gonna have to
Well,
push
that's
the
the
intro
problem.
himself.
They're trying
Donnie,
to
you have to
get
push the
tickets
intro
sold,
yourself.
and they play
Make
2
sure that's
games
the way you
worth
want it,
watching
Troy.
at home. Huh? They got, I don't know, Alabama and Florida.
Yeah.
That's it, pretty much.
Somebody put a headset on for it? Well, here, you'll go through the headset.
Because they won't schedule anybody non-conference.
Welcome to the Goatee Sports Page, coming to you live from the Blue Tick.
Do you want that at the top, Donnie, or do you want it at the bottom?
Somebody,
Whichever one's easiest.
Yeah, well, they'll have them on the schedule and find out they're playing a wing T or they're playing a triple option. And,
yeah.
nah, I don't think we want to play that.
Take care of you the best I can.
Okay, Troy, make sure this is
We
the way
dropped
you
Brigham
want it.
Young. How would you like to be playing Brigham Young Saturday? There's a pretty good. Yes, sir.
You very cool, man.
I mean, they got everybody back, and we got rid of them.
And now you've tested playback.
And Army, we got rid of Army.
We didn't want to play
I
the
think
triple
we
option.
could.
No, hell no, we didn't want that. That would keep our offense off the field. That's what that was all about.
Now, a little bit more to the right now.
You know,
Yeah, a little bit more to the
people
right.
need to wise up a little
There,
bit.
perfect.
I think.
Up a little bit. Just a little shmee. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, there you go.
That way we get as many advertisers in
Previous week.
as possible.
Let me get a picture of this.
Troy, he gets on me about Notre Dame,
They stink.
but hell, they're playing Ohio State.
What happened to my phone?
You know, right.
I mean, that's a kickoff.
Well, and Purdue, team that beat us, you know who they're opening against? Penn State at home.
Before you do anything next,
I mean-
probably just mute the board just to be safe.
Mike,
Welcome to the Goatee Sports Page. Coming to you live from the Blue Tick Tavern in Maryville and 105.1 FM. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Bringing you the best in local sports since 1978. Featuring the Greenfield Gunner, Mike Edwards, former Maryville Scot, Donnie Moore, former UT coach, Ray Trail, from the Daily Times, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Troy Provo Heron.
Hello, everybody, and greetings from the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. I'm Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, along with Donnie Moore, Troy Provo Heron, and Marcus Fitzsimmons, and this is the Goatee Sports Page. Excitement continues to build as Tennessee football moves to their home opener, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set today's lineup card. It's the University of Tennessee Sports Report and the SEC Notebook with volunteer football coaching legend Ray Trail, Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo Heron, and longtime sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons. Vol football season predictions, a Ball State preview, and the first top 10 list of the year will be on the agenda. Donnie Moore will announce the high school scores from around the area, and then Mark It Down with Marcus Fitzsimmons features Maryville College Athletic Director Sarah Quadracki. Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo Heron unveils the Anderson Lumber Company High School Player of the Week. Heritage High School volleyball coach Jason Keeble will join Troy. Donnie Moore and the panel discuss sports headlines from around the country before the Sports Page spotlight shines on college football realignment. And finally, the panel gives their bold predictions for the week and offers any final thoughts. And now it's time for the UT Sports Report and SEC Notebook featuring former UT coach Ray Trail, Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo Heron, and Marcus Fitzsimmons. Good morning to all of you, and welcome back to another week of the Goatee Sports Page. Donnie Moore, before we get started, Tennessee and Ball State are set to go here Thursday night, and David Letterman. David Letterman is an alumnus of Ball State University, so I thought it might be a good time to throw in a top 10 list. That was popular on his show. What do you think?
Let's do it, Mike.
All right.
We're ready.
All right, here's the first top 10 list of the year. The top 10 reasons anybody would pay money to go watch Tennessee play Ball State Teachers College.
All right.
The top 10 reasons anybody would pay money to go watch Tennessee play Ball State Teachers College. Number 10, they want to see the number 3 rated party school in Indiana play. Number 9, they want to watch fireworks and drink beer. Number 8, they want to see what part of the first quarter Smokey rolls over and falls asleep. The number 7 reason anybody would pay money to go watch Tennessee play Ball State Teachers College, they want to see the Vols beat a team dressed in crimson, red, and white for a change. Number 6, they heard Peyton Manning was going to show up in person, and they want to see if Tennessee will actually win one with him there. The number 5 reason anybody would pay money to go watch Tennessee play Ball State Teachers College, they want to see if Vol backup quarterback Joe Milton can keep a pass in the stadium. Number 4, after losing to Purdue in the Music City Bowl and to Notre Dame in baseball, they want to be there when the Vols actually beat a team from Indiana. Number 3, inflation is so high right now they figure money isn't worth much, so why not throw it away on the game, huh? Number 2, they heard Jeremy Pruitt and his wife were planning on attending the game to pass out money to everybody. And the number 1 reason anybody would pay money to go watch Tennessee play Ball State Teachers College, after 18 Level 1 NCAA violations, they want to be at the game to see if Tennessee can do anything legal. Huh? All right, there you have it. Coach Trail, good morning to you. And I'm trying to figure out some positive things to say about Ball State in this first football game. It's really been hard, but I mentioned in there that they are the number 3 party school in Indiana, and I know everybody out there were wondering, well, who's number 1, number 2? Indiana University is the number 1 party school in Indiana. DePaul, now that's not with an L, that's with a W. At the end. They're in Greencastle, Indiana. They're number 2. Ball State, of course, is number 3. Notre Dame is 4. Number 5 is Purdue, and number 6 is Indiana State. Well, you go down through there. Let's see, Tennessee played Indiana there a couple of years ago. They're playing Ball State Thursday. They've played Notre Dame, recently. Purdue and Indiana. Hey, Coach Trell, they've played almost all the party schools in Indiana except DePaul. Huh?
Well, I'll be dead good. I'll tell you what now. That's something about that Indiana outfit that we like.
Yeah, they don't win many football games, but they party hardy up there, that's for sure. Troy, Ball State, we mentioned David Letterman, but Andy Devine, that's way before your time. Coach Trell remembers Andy Devine on the Western movies. He's a graduate of Ball State University. Joyce DeWitt, Donnie, that was on Three's Company.
I remember Joyce DeWitt.
Yeah, she's a Ball State graduate. And
Wow.
Brady Hoke. You remember Brady? He was the assistant coach here, wasn't he, at UT there a few years ago? And he was the former Michigan head coach, and he's out at San Diego State right now. Out of all the years Ball State's been in existence, that's the only 3 people I recognized on their distinguished alumni list. But nonetheless, next Thursday night, the Tennessee Vols open their 2022 football season against Ball State Teachers College. The Cardinals were 6-7 last year and have had 7 losing seasons in the last 8 years. Ball State was 4-4 in the Mid-American Conference a year ago, and they come into the game as a 32.5-point underdog. The contest can be seen at 7 o'clock on the SEC Network. Coach Trell, I got to ask you right off the bat, what's the advantage of playing this game?
None. There is no advantage. Matter of fact, I always thought in coaching, open with a good, solid team, and you have something to build on. After this game, where do you say you stand? You don't know. I don't see what this is. Nothing but a money giveaway. That's all it is. And to get a W, that's the thing that's really hurt is the bowl games. 6 games and you go to a bowl game. Okay, you schedule 3 or 4 gimmies.
4.
Yeah, you got all you got to do is win 2 games in the conference, and you're going to a bowl game, and that is ridiculous. I mean, you don't reward mediocrity. I mean, when we played, if you went to a bowl game, you were a top team. None of this other.
Well, there wasn't as many bowls either back
Well,
in.
no, I mean they got bowls now for toilet bowl to the every bowl, every bowl.
You name it, they got it.
You got it.
Yep.
And it takes away from everything else. I mean, the people I feel sorry for the most is the fans. I mean, they get all why do you get excited to go watch this game? I mean, what is it?
Well,
I mean, if I normally took a fifth to this game, I would take 3/5 to this game.
if you decided to stay all 4 quarters.
Right. If I stayed the whole thing, I'm going to drink 3/5 because the game is going to be anything.
Listeners, did you know we were going to be discussing fractions on this show?
Yeah.
I'm not good at math. I'm so confused right now.
Hey, Troy, Coach Trail made a good point there. We're open against Ball State.
Mm-hmm.
We can run the numbers up. Fans can feel pretty good about it. They're good. It's the first game and so forth. But Pittsburgh's playing West Virginia.
Yeah,
that's our second game, and they're going to be tested big time. I think Pittsburgh's about a 6.5-point favorite in that, but it's probably just a toss-up game against West Virginia, a rival game. And you got Notre Dame playing Ohio State the first game. You got Purdue playing Penn State the first game. I guess my question is, Pittsburgh's going to be the first challenge for Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Are they going to be more ready than we are to get to that challenge this second ball game? Troy?
It's entirely possible. I think you go into the year and there's a lot of unknowns about things. Like, look, I think Tennessee's probably going to beat the crap out of Ball State, right? And that's probably what's going to happen. We probably thought the same thing 2 years ago when Tennessee played Georgia State. I know I like to bring that up a lot, but that's what it is. And Tennessee lost that game. Yeah. So I don't like sitting here and saying, I agree. I think Ball State is not good and Tennessee should beat them by 40 points. But ultimately, the game counts, and the lights are on, and you have to perform. And if Tennessee doesn't perform, we're going to sit at this very table next week and trash them.
Yeah. Well,
No. I mean, the thing is I know as a coach and as a player that, that first game gives an incentive during the summer to work harder. You kind of look at that just like we're looking at Ball State, and the guy said, well, I could run another mile bar, but I'm not because, we're playing Ball State. I'm going to have 2 or 3 weeks there to kind of get in shape. But that's why I always like to open with a good team because it makes the kids work harder in the summer because they know they got to be ready to play right off the bat. And it gives them an incentive to do that. And you start with somebody like this, everything is like, well, we got another week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, and then we play another gimme. So I just it takes the deal.
It's hard to get rid of it.
Right, I don't disagree with you. I do agree that, would I love to see Tennessee play better teams in week 1 and week 3? Of course I would. But I also feel like the SEC in its current state, and even somewhat the Big Ten in this state, they look around and they say, look at what we play from week 4 to when we finish. Like, we get the crap beat out of us. Why don't we? And this is what the league thinks. It's why don't we take some time and try and not get the crud beat out of us for 12 weeks? When we talk about Pitt playing West Virginia, that's great, but Pitt also gets to play the likes of Syracuse and Boston College who aren't good. And they do that every year, on the year. They play a lot of teams. The ACC is not good at the bottom of it. They get to play Duke and stuff like that. So they don't have to do the thing Tennessee has to do this year, which is play LSU, Georgia, Alabama, Florida. And I'm not making an excuse for it. I agree with you that it's not exciting to sit here and play Ball State, but that's what the league thinks.
Yeah, but, all those games look really tough right now. But when you get to them, they may not look that tough.
But you could say that against Ball State. You could say it looks easy here, and then Ball State comes out and puts up 40 points on Thursday.
Well, I don't think.
I'm just saying you can't say one without the other, Mike.
I understand, Marcus.
Sure
I've got some things written down here. What Tennessee can look for in this game. First of all, they can gain some confidence being the first game. They can get the fan base excited. Hendon Hooker can put up some big numbers. There's all this talk about he might be a Heisman candidate. So, we're going to see what kind of numbers he can put up. And we look for him to put big numbers up against Ball State. Can the defense finally stop somebody? I look for them to do that. Can they get rid of some early season jitters? Warm up for Pittsburgh, the game atmosphere, all the fans over there, and they can take a look at a lot of people. So I guess there are, looking at the positive market, there are some things that are on that side.
You have positives out there, and, I think the bigger question is which version of Tennessee do you think we're going to see? Are they confident enough that they're going to come out and just try to do some basic stuff, or is it like last year where they feel like they've got to come out of the gate and do something spectacular and put some fireworks on the board to keep everybody energized? I mean, I think that's going to be the more interesting thing to see is Tennessee going to come out in the first play and heave it 30 yards, or are they going to hand off up the middle?
I'll tell you what they should do. They should work on their running game. Hooker can catch the ball. They got receivers that can catch the ball. The weakest point of a team in the past has been the ability to line up and run the football and consistently run the football and get your offensive line more in tune to what we're trying to do. And, you can throw the ball all summer to the receivers and everything, but a lineman has got to play to get better. I mean, he's got to play against somebody that's really trying to do something. Now, whether this team is going to do that, I don't know. Right. But you still get, as an offensive line, to me, that's the point that they need to work on. And they don't need to come out and throw the ball 50 times or 60 times. Line up and learn to run the 3rd and down and 2 and 3 and get some confidence in your offensive line. All we talk about over there is throwing the ball and scoring points and all this. Well, when you get down the line and you start looking at the other teams, you wish you could be able to control the ball and run clock.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, I mean, then it's a 3 and out, and you're gone, and they got the ball.
Coach, I really like what you're saying right there, but I think what we're going to be looking at Thursday is two of our backs are just going to be statues back there, and they're going to be receivers, if anything, or maybe some blockers. I think we're going to throw the football all over the place, and we're going to run plays just as fast as we can possibly run them. I think that's what's going to happen, but I agree with you there. Troy, Ball State, what do they get out of this game? Well, they're going to get a paycheck. And that's
big one.
A big paycheck, and they're going to get a chance to tell the grandkids someday they played in front of 80 to 100,000 people. And I've tried to find some other things, but I do want to bring this up because last year we talked about this. The Army, the cadets of Army played Ball State last year. They played them last year, and Army was 4-0 when they played Ball State, and Ball State beat them 28-16.
And you were
now
mad
this
when
is the
Tennessee took
same.
Army off the
Now
schedule.
listen, this is the same
They got a better
Army.
team.
Now wait a minute. This is the same Army team that we got off our schedule
They're a better
because
team.
because they run the triple option. And they didn't want anybody running that triple option over here and keeping their offense off of the field because that's exactly what that triple option was going to do. But Ball State did. I'm going to give them credit. Now, they had a better team last year than they've got coming in here Thursday last year. But they did play Army, and they beat a pretty good Army team. That Army team finished pretty good for the season last year. But I do want to bring that up, and that's really all the positive things I've got to talk about on Ball State. So, Troy, if you want to add some things, I know you like these mid-major colleges or whatever they call them. So you just go
Troy,
ahead.
It sounds to
This
me
is my
like
question.
Tennessee got an upgraded opponent for week 1 this year.
Is Tennessee overpaying? This is Tennessee. It feels to me like Tennessee is overpaying for these wins because
Every
the
college
story
football team overpays for these wins.
No, but I mean the story coming out of UNC with Florida A&M and all the eligibility stuff that's going on with them today. But that game, they're only getting paid $450,000. Tennessee put out over almost $1 million for this game. I mean, and they're a Division I team. But you can get an FCS team for $500,000. Tennessee seems like they're overpaying to get these wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but the truth of the matter is when you have that circular patch on your chest and it says SEC, the price goes up.
It does.
I mean, that's just the way it is. When you have more money, you have to pay more money.
Yep.
Why? Because you're going to play a game on a network that
Also-
people will actually watch versus the
Yes.
ACC network?
Yes, for sure. We're going to make more money. Also, in that case, in UNC is not nearly as good as any team in the SEC, maybe other than Vanderbilt. They could lose that game to Florida A&M.
Florida A&M's showing up with 62 players and 7 linemen today.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Florida A&M is going to win the game. I am saying that UNC is not like that high caliber of a program where UNC should be dishing out $500,000 for wins that they can't guarantee.
Yeah.
You don't want to cash checks you can't pay.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Ball State because we've kind of inadvertently talked about they're pretty subpar going into this game, and that's the understatement. This Coach Terrell, this is not a good football team coming in here. It's an inexperienced team. They don't have very much depth. Their quarterback, John Paddock,
Mike is so mean to his home state.
Now wait a second. He's 5'11". He's 5'11", 196 pounds, and he's going to start tonight. He's been a backup for three years, so he should be seasoned.
Yeah.
He's been a backup for 3 years, and he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in his career, Coach. That's who they're starting at quarterback tonight. Last year, they averaged 3.8 yards per carry. 3.8 yards per carry. The offensive line has some experience, not much size there. The pass defense a year ago, this is really encouraging for them. They gave up 243 yards a game last year. Didn't have any rush whatsoever. They have no size on their defensive line. The passing last year, 6.1 yards they had in average in passing.
That's not a pass. That's a lateral.
Their defense last season had no sacks in 6 of the last 10 games. No sacks in 6 of the last 10 games. Now, that was a team last year that was supposed to challenge for the MAC championship. They won their division. In fact, they won their division, so that's a fairly good team compared to what they're bringing in here this year. They lost a lot from that team last year that went 6-6 during the year and then lost the bowl game. So, Coach Terrell, that's the lowdown on what's coming in here Thursday night.
Gosh, dog, there's not many ways that you can, if on one side you're talking over here of team thinking they're going to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 in the conference, and this team. I mean, as a coach, I'm telling you, this game is the hardest game that you will coach because those players look at the film and everything else. How you going to get them excited to play? And that's why I always said, play a good game first. That makes the kids work harder in the summer. Get them ready. They're ready to go. But this right here is like, if we can get through this without having any injuries, then we're going to play next week.
Yep.
But you set a precedence of exactly where you are. And what do you get after this game? After this game right here, you take the game film and you throw it in the nearest garbage.
Like a frisbee? I will say this, Ray. It is an opportunity to really throw Pitt off.
Oh, God.
No, think about it. You come in on Thursday and you just start doing like double front flip throws and stuff. Pitt won't know how to defend anything. They'll be like, "What are they doing?"
I don't. I'm just saying. You take the game and you throw it in the garbage can over there. You don't even take. I mean, I wouldn't take the time to go over it with my players. I'd say forget this game, because this is not the level that we play at.
Right.
And that's just the way it is.
If Lonnie were still here, he could tell us what happens when you misplace film.
Yeah. That's the truth. Hey, Troy, let me ask you this. Tennessee is an overwhelming favorite going into this game. How long do you keep Hendon Hooker in the game? How long do you keep do you get people in there as quick as you can?
You keep them in the game until you feel like you've covered. Because I'm probably gonna take.
You covered the point spread.
Because I'm probably gonna put some money on. I'm probably gonna put some money on Tennessee. So if Josh Heupel is listening, keep Hendon Hooker in until you feel very comfortable that you're gonna cover the spread.
Well, let me ask
that should
you
happen in
this.
the first quarter.
I'm gonna ask you this: how long do you, when you've got one quarterback?
Yes.
Do you leave him out there in a game like this? I do not.
A Heisman, a guy that's going to try to run up some Heisman numbers.
But
are you going to let him run them numbers up right in this game, to get off to a good start? Or are you going to give your other people a shot, Milton and some of your backup?
What if he gets hit in a clip with the leg and you're ahead 31 to something and they haul him to the sideline on a stretcher?
In all seriousness, I think he plays a half.
Okay, half.
I think he plays the first half and he's out at the second half. I mean, Tennessee's a 33.5-point favorite,
Right.
so you kind of feel like by halftime you're probably up 28, 30-ish, and you take him out and that's it.
Okay.
They may be up
Head
40
to the shout.
at
Maybe.
the half.
Maybe. I don't like to sell the schools in Indiana short, okay? They produced a great one in Mike Edwards, so
Yeah, I don't. You picked Hawaii to win.
Right.
You got
And that's
beat
it. Hey,
nothing.
and he's got another shot at it because Vanderbilt's
Vanderbilt
playing them.
against
They're
Hawaii
going to
on week one.
Hawaii.
Oh, which way you
that
going
one's
there?
exciting. That one's exciting.
They're open. Hey, Marcus, what Ball State? Let's say that but I've heard Georgia State mentioned this morning. This is nowhere near a Georgia State team. It's Ball State team, but if Ball State wants to hang around, they're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to try to keep the game in the 20s and 30s and move the chains. Is that the way you see it? No way Ball State's going to win in a shootout with Tennessee.
No, they're not going to win a shootout unless Tennessee is throwing more interceptions in one game than they threw all of last season. But, I mean, if you're looking at it from Ball State's perspective, you want to do some basics. You want to take what stars you have and get them some TV time, run some plays just especially for them. But basically you're trying to make sure that clock is down to 3 seconds before you snap the ball every play, because the more chances you give Tennessee, Tennessee's going to run 70 plays. You just don't want them to run 120 plays on you.
That's not going to be enough unless they recruit this guy named Jesus.
Yeah.
By the time Thursday rolls around.
That's how you keep it 42-7 and not 77-0.
Yeah.
Hey, 42-7 is cool in
Well,
my book. That's
I
a
tell you
cover.
what, if I were
Because this team has the potential to be that bad. I mean, Tennessee could literally put up 70 points on them. You want it to be a 40-point game, 35-point game. You don't want it. You don't want to be the one who's on that highlight on SportsCenter, that
Now, you
defeats your whole
guys
purpose.
don't- I'm telling you, this is a throwaway game.
Right.
I mean, a throwaway game. And if I were Ball State, I would put my second or third team. I'd play
In as well?
everybody. I might even suit up a manager to put him out there. You know, because
But don't
you're
you-
not going to win this game.
But don't you
I'm
want to
telling ya.
get tested?
I'm telling you, the only thing. Listen,
Tested.
I brought
Yeah.
this up, but
I
the
don't
only-
mind getting tested, but I don't want to get killed.
Hey, the only thing Ball State's got going for them before the kickoff is they're going to run out on field, and they're going to be in them red and white uniforms, and it's going to look like Alabama warming up down there on that end.
No,
but
it's-
if
no.
you take
No,
a second,
no,
It's not gonna look. It's not gonna look like Alabama.
It's not
there
gonna
will be.
look like that at
there
all.
will be no
Color
mistaking
in
that.
color only. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about a couple of other things. Get away from Ball State a little bit, but the smoky gray uniforms are back in style again.
I hate
I know the young people like that, but I'm not too crazy about it,
things are
Coach
sweet.
Trail.
I hate 'em. I hate
I
'em.
like.
Now, this is
I
coming
don't-
from a guy who, if you're on social media, is wearing a smoky gray outfit right now.
Well, I
Yes,
don't,
that's true.
I don't have any choice for that. But listen, I'm a traditionalist. I like tradition. I think guys want to come to a school that's Tennessee, and Tennessee is orange and white. Coach Trail, they're orange and white. That's the tradition.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
They have
I
orange
tell you
numbers.
what.
Yeah.
Jersey has orange numbers.
I am not. I don't know who they're trying to appease to. Is what
Kids
I'm
like 'em.
saying. I don't.
Recruits like 'em.
Recruits like them.
I'm just telling you.
If they come because of the color of the uniform, I don't want them.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, the guy comes
You're
because they
going-
like your uniform.
no, you're going
I
because
know,
Tennessee's in the
I-
SEC and you
you're-
play in front of
you're-
102,000
you're-
fans. But
you're-
also, any edge you can get in recruiting, you take.
That ain't a take.
You
That's
take.
a gimme.
You take any.
gimme,
You
that-
take any advantage you can get. Kids like
That
the
is
jerseys.
not an advantage. A color
Well,
of the uniform.
fans like it.
Yep.
Like
Fans
you said,
like
if
it.
you
Kids
take it,
like it.
fans like it.
You sell jerseys.
I'll tell you what.
It's money.
If you run your team for the fans, you might as well hang it up.
But
Yeah.
Nike,
yeah.
I
They'll
mean, Nike's made a
they'll
deal.
leave you in a New York minute. The fans will.
Nike's
You lose
made
a
a
couple
deal.
of
School gets
you
money.
lose a couple of big
You got to
games.
pay Ball State somehow.
And you're out of this. You're going to have to go looking for fans.
Then you can start wearing your black uniform.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, I want to make this comment as the season opens. Tennessee has not had back-to-back winning seasons in football since 2015. I feel pretty good that that's going to be broken. And the SEC is looking at a 9-game conference slate next year, Marcus. I think that's a step in the right direction. They got my vote on that deal. 9 games, and it looks like it's going to pass, and it will go in effect next year if that happens. Your comments on that?
I think it's a great first step. I think what the SEC it will force, and we don't want to get in that whole conversation, it's going to force a playoff change because it's going to go to that basketball type thing. If you're going to have more conference games and also be pushing for more games like we're going to see next weekend where you're playing Oregon and you're playing Michigan and you're playing Ohio State and you're playing major Power 5 teams in those instead of the Ball States, that the compensation is going to be you're going to have to open up that playoff bracket for more people
Yeah, you
to
need
get 1 and 2 loss teams in
You
there.
need a margin of error.
But this is the first step that's going to force that is expanded conference play to increase the number of games and get ready for Texas and Oklahoma.
Hey, it's time to turn the page, and next up is the local scoreboard and Mark It Down featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons. You're listening to the sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in Goatee sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than Visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union. With KTBA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com. We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093. The Blue Tick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew, and now it's time for the local scoreboard, brought to you by Donnie Moore. Donnie Moore, you've been all wrapped up in technology this morning, to say the least.
No doubt.
So I'm going to turn it over to you. We had a lot of football played last night. Huh,
you know, we did. We had a couple of games on Thursday this week, which is becoming more and more prevalent around this area. But we did. We had quite a few games last night too. So, but football is in full swing in this area right now. So we'll try to give you some scores at this time. Like I said, we had a couple of games played on Thursday this week. Alcoa traveled to Gatlinburg-Pittman and it took Alcoa a long time to warm up on Thursday. I guess up in Gatlinburg it's a little bit cooler than it is down here in the valley. But like I said, it took them a long time to warm up Thursday night. They didn't have a really smooth first half up there in Gatlinburg. But I think Coach Nix lit a fire under the Tornadoes at halftime. He knows how to do that because he's seen Gary Rankin do that many times in the past. So he must have done that in the past. And Alcoa came out and had a great second half up there at Gatlinburg-Pittman. And final score, Alcoa 52, Gatlinburg-Pittman 17. Jordan Harris had a great game, didn't he, Troy?
Yeah, I was about to say, when things aren't going well, sometimes you just turn around, give the ball to 9, and let him do his thing. Kid is so good.
He's phenomenal, isn't he? Yeah, he's going to have a great season, and look for that kid's name
on
up in lights on Saturdays. Yeah, he's great.
And I think the thing that I know was driving the radio crew a little bit nutty was, we were playing right around the mercy rule the entire fourth quarter there.
Yeah.
We were in mercy rule and running clock. Then GP scored and we're not.
Yeah.
Then Alcoa scores and we're back in mercy rule, and then we're back off of it. And
that's true.
It was.
Marty and Heath couldn't decide.
Marty and Heath had a lot of fun with that, trying to keep track of whether we were in mercy rule or not during the fourth quarter.
That's true.
Especially with the new mercy rule rules.
Yeah, they've
30,
changed
not
a little
35.
Bit. 30,
Thank
goodness. 30
goodness.
points. Yeah, exactly. Also on Thursday, Maryville traveled to Powell to take on the defending 5A state champs up there in Powell. And a lot of people thought this was going to be a nip and tuck battle. It wasn't.
Yeah. It might have been if Powell had their starting quarterback.
Yeah,
but
that's true. They were
injured
missing,
with a shoulder injury.
Yeah,
but
missing a quarterback.
Well, they lost some guys last year.
Well, they lost the defensive tackle.
Yeah,
but they still have
Texas A&M.
3 Division I wide receivers.
Yeah.
And you go into the year, and Maryville's biggest question mark by far is its secondary, because you lose DJ Burks, you lose Eli Hames, and you lose your other starting corner, who his name always escapes me. But so you're replacing 3 guys in the secondary, and for them to shut down those 3 guys, quarterback, backup quarterback, it doesn't matter. That was really impressive, and I've been through 2 weeks. I've been really, really impressed with Maryville's defense.
Yeah, but with Maryville, it's always next man up mentality.
Yep.
They train these guys from peewees and midgets on
They
up,
were
and they run the
relaxed.
same system, and they just do next man up, and they replace those guys just like clockwork.
Yep. You've done an excellent job.
38-13, Maryville was your final score there.
And Noah Vaughn continued his assault of the Panthers.
Yeah.
He ran for 205 last year and ran for 195 this year. So
That's another one you're going to see playing on Saturdays up in lights. So great
0.
game for the Rebels. Greenback hosted Oneida on Friday night and last night, and that you talk about a great game, close game. That was one.
Yeah.
13-10 Greenback. And man, that's a close ball game there. Cherokees come out on top, 13-10.
And a big win for Greenback. I
Yeah.
know last year they lost
Coach
a lot. They
Edmiston.
lost a lot of those games last
They
year.
did.
So to win one like that early in the season, I think gives them a ton of confidence.
It does. That's a great confidence builder for the Cherokees. Congratulations to Coach Edmiston and his crew there. Heritage took on Campbell County last night, and Heritage scored some points last night. Scored 28 points. Gave them a good ball game.
Gave them a fight for a while.
They did. Campbell County got on top. The Cougars win this one 46-28 last night.
And you got to remember, a year ago, Heritage lost to Campbell County 42-7. So they are seeing some progress, and I know it's not going as quickly and as fast as Joe would like it to go, but they're going to get there. I really believe that.
They are.
Truly believe that they're going to get there.
They are. Seymour traveled to Cherokee last night, and the Eagles come out on the losing end. Oh, I'm sorry, they won one last night, 42-28. Sorry, Marcus. Congrats to your Eagles. 42-28 winner last night at Cherokee. Where's Cherokee, by the way?
Cherokee is in
northeast.
It's toward Carolina.
Yeah.
It's in that area.
I always say go to Rogersville and turn right.
Rogersville, turn right. Okay, that works for me.
Make sure you don't
that's not
ask you
exactly
for,
right,
just
but
for directions.
You just go.
On
you
my
just
map
go
reference,
east.
that's
Somewhere on the East Coast there. you go.
Somewhere east of here.
Well, congrats to your
Between
Eagles.
us and Carolina.
yeah, I thought Seymour came. I thought they regrouped after the setback. There was a lot of things they did not like about the opener, and I think they came back pretty well and
Yeah.
did some of the things we were expecting. I mean, they've still got a long way to go to compete in that region, but getting that first win is going to be a good step forward.
They are in a tough region. Kings Academy hosted Meigs County last night and came out on the easy end, or not the easy end, but the 10-point winner over Meigs County, 34-24. So congratulations to Kings.
Game of the week last night.
Good.
That game was remarkable. Up 21-0 at half, 24 unanswered from Meigs County, and then a game-winning touchdown drive from a sophomore quarterback making his second career start. It was a remarkable one.
Good deal. Well, there are your high school scores for the week. We'll kick it now to veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons for his feature. Mark it down.
Well, thanks, Donnie. And we've got VIPs in this morning.
Outstanding.
Let me just tell you,
We like it.
If you've seen the scrambling on the side of the screen, it's because we've got the VIPs in the house.
I don't know if I learned how to turn this on.
So we have Maryville College Athletic Director Sarah Kwatrocki's joining us this morning. And I'm going to say, if you're stay on this segment, because we're going to hopefully break some news here in a couple minutes while she's here.
Are we?
Yeah, I think we are.
That's good.
But let's do the quick introduction for her. because basically 18 months as athletic director now, and been at the school since 2019. Been through a very interesting last couple of months with the transition as Maryville College has, we'll say, led part of the exodus out of the USA South after leading the exodus into the USA South several years ago. New college conference with the Collegiate Conference of the South forming. Dr. Coker was named the President's Council and Executive Committee as the chair. That has got to make for a very interesting first 18 months on the job to have all that going on in the background, coming out of COVID and trying to do that first season of a full season out of the pandemic.
Correct. It's been a whirlwind, but it has been exciting and rewarding. And just here in a few days, we get to kick it all off. So, all of our hard work gets to get paid off. This week has been particularly exciting because, as I'm sure you've seen, we've had all of our preseason polls come out, and so it's all come to life finally. We've seen the CCS graphics with our team names in them, with the colors that we've chosen as a conference, and so all of that hard work has paid off. And Dr. Coker, myself, and even our senior women administrator Jenny Massey, we've been in meetings. I feel like meeting after meeting, putting all this together, and it's just really rewarding. And I don't think our students quite understand, what it means to be in a new conference, but hopefully they see all the hard work, especially when we get time for the conference championships, just to see the hard work that we've put in so that they can have a exceptionally well student athlete experience when we get to that championship experience time.
I kind of played it as an exodus, but it's an amicable breakup as far as
it was
from us on the outside looking in.
It was.
But the USA South, Maryville College was a member when it was an 8-team league, and they were just helping fill out football. It got to 19 full members, and you had associate members in other sports, and it was like some of those divisions were 22 teams, and it just got too big is what it felt like.
It was too big to make just everyday decisions. And when you have to get 19 athletic directors or presidents, on a call, or in today's world on a Zoom to make an everyday decision, it gets very hard just to keep things moving. And so I think COVID showed us that, when we were breaking up into the West and to the East to just make decisions, to make schedules, just to make things easier during COVID times, it showed us that we really could do this. And so it really put into motion that, if the break was going to be a reality in the future anyways, then it was time to do this. It was time to move on, and that's why it really was amicable, and it was the best for both sides. And we worked really hard to make it amicable, especially for the affiliate sports as well, because when you look at, even though football is an affiliate member, and right now for us women's golf is as well, because there's not enough teams in the CCS for women's golf to have a championship. That's over a third of our student athletes. And so, it sounds like this, our primary conference is the CCS, but if you look at it, a third of our student athletes are still affiliate members of the USA South. So we worked really hard to make it amicable, and we're just really excited. It's just better for everybody. And like I said, when a conference grows that big, at our level, at the Division III, when the primary focus is the student athlete, to have it grow that big, to make everyday decisions be that hard, it just really didn't work anymore for everybody.
So I can only imagine that when you were, it's not like you call the NCAA and say, hey, we're going to form a new conference. You all cool with that? I'm assuming there's some administrative paperwork that goes into that, and a lot of back and forth with them, and you have to. I think you got a good hire, but you have to go out and find a conference commissioner to actually be the administrative head of this.
That was step one. We had to find a consultant. We found a consultant, last fall, kind of put into motion what just really needed to be done. There's an application process, and we had to, move like our hair was on fire to get this application process in, and to get it approved at the beginning of literally just this year. And so once your application process is approved, then it is go time. And so we, as athletic administrators, we had a standing meeting every Monday at 1 o'clock. And so it's funny, and I had told Troy this earlier a couple of weeks ago, like when the news came out, like, oh, we're starting a new conference, like, I had colleagues around the country that, were texting me, like, you started a new conference? They're like, when did you have time to do this? And I'm like, well, every Monday at 1 o'clock. That's when I did it, because, like, we had just pages and pages of things that had to be done. Like, we sat down in January after after we were approved to start the new conference. And as athletic administrators, we just wrote all the things that had to be done. And you don't realize everything that you have to do, from schedules, ball contracts, hiring officiating, assigners, putting rule books together. What do you want the values of your conference to be? You have to have, there's all sorts of internal committees, and it's just crazy. And we had, over 3 pages of things that we had to accomplish. And every Monday at 1, we met on Zoom. We had in-person meetings as well. We would go to Atlanta. We would go to Chattanooga. And so it was like, every Monday at 1. That's when we formed the conference. And so we just dwindled that list down. And, more and more each week it felt like, okay, this is a real thing. And so it's a big accomplishment. I don't think any of us realize yet until we start playing and we have a championship and, we just ordered trophies for the first time. And so until we, have a team hoist that first trophy, at the end of October, I don't think it'll really feel real to all of us. But, this week has been pretty special, seeing those, preseason polls come out and all of that. So I think it's time now that we're kind of seeing, like, wow, we did this in less than a year. I don't really think anybody else can say they've started a conference every Monday at 1 o'clock in less than a year. So
it's a new pattern. I'm sure somebody's going to try to replicate it.
They will, and especially now that Division III has passed legislation that you only need 6 sponsoring schools to host a championship. I think we'll start seeing maybe a little more movement in Division III. But hopefully we've set the standard that you got to do it. You got to do it right. And you got to do it with integrity, and that's what we tried to lay the foundation for.
So the big question always is going to be, does the conference have the automatic qualifiers for its tournament champions? Is that something that goes down the process?
We don't, and you have to understand, if the NCAA just allowed you to have an automatic bid right away, people would do this every year, right? Like, hey, let's get together and let's form this conference so that we can get an automatic bid. And that's hard for our coaches to understand, and I get it. It's really hard because that's what everybody wants. And I've tried to explain to our coaches, look, if we win a conference championship, we're going to celebrate it like no one's ever celebrated before. We'll have celebrations, we'll get rings, we'll have a ceremony. And if we still don't make the NCAA tournament because of it, it'll be really heartbreaking, but at least we've ended our season on a win. And we'll celebrate it still, like, we'll be the first ever CCS championship. And, we'll have that championship experience for the students.
And I think that's the best thing you can do. And it's not like the college has been in a situation where they were a conference member that didn't have an AQ. So
correct.
School's been there and done that and still gotten into the postseason, into the NCAA tournament. So
yeah, and a lot of our coaches have planned really strategically. They've scheduled really, really tough non-conference schedules to try to plan for that so that they can get a bid otherwise with their strength of schedule. So, our coaches have planned for it. It's not like we sprung this on them last minute. So hopefully that'll pay off in the long run.
So the big change last Friday, all the students began moving in.
Yes.
So, and I'll give a shout out to Daily Times alum Steve Wildsmith. There was some great social media out there from that. But that's got to bring life back to campus in a way.
Yeah, it is. It's been so different. We've talked about it this week on campus, just with a bunch of different departments. If you look at freshmen to seniors, if you break them down, our senior class, they were with us when we shut down. Our juniors came to Maryville College with like literally every restriction in the COVID book, right? Last year, the sophomores came when it was like, we still had a lot of restrictions and we had vaccine mandates, which a lot of people, were hesitant about. And then this year's freshman class has come with nothing, no restrictions. And so they've brought this just new energy to campus that is just so different. And so we're all just kind of like, whoa, what's this? And it's new, it's refreshing. We have about, in athletics, we have about 156, 57. I'm not counting who is counting, but we have about, we have a lot of new students in the athletic department. And so they have just brought this new energy to our department, and it's just been really refreshing. And so I think a lot of us have just kind of been just like wide-eyed all week, just like, what is this energy? And it's like, is it good? Is it bad? And it's like, no, it's good. It's good. And we love it. And so it's been really exciting. And that's why I'm really excited that this is finally game week. We've gotten through preseason, all of our fall sports, and we're just ready to go. And all of our winter sports and spring sports, we had all the mandatory meetings this week, so they're off and running next week with strength and conditioning and all of that. So I think we're just ready to have some normalcy and put that energy to work.
So, we were looking back and peeking at your resume on LinkedIn. So you started off with sports information.
I did.
So you have worked for a living.
I did. So a lot of people don't know. I kind of snuck my way into the industry. I worked my first job ever. I worked with the Kansas City Royals. That was one of my first jobs. Baseball was my first love. It was the first thing I ever loved in my life, and just being around baseball. And so then I knew I wanted to work in sports. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be like a sports journalist for a newspaper.
Oh, don't
Troy,
do that.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do that.
Hey.
Troy and I can both tell you.
That's what I wanted
a horrendous
to do.
job.
And then when I went to college, I was like, what's this sports information director? What is that job? So I asked if they had any part-time positions, and they did. And as a freshman in college, they put me to work like right away. I was busy. I was working stats at soccer, keeping the book at basketball, and so all through college I worked. I loved it, and I was offered a job before I even graduated, and that's how I got in the business. And I loved it. I was at a Division II school, my alma mater. I worked almost every job there. I even coached a little when they needed me at different sports. I loved it, and when you get too comfortable at a place, you got to leave, unfortunately, and so that's how I got to Tennessee, and went to Rhodes College on the other side of the state before I came here. But I got the most out of my alma mater. They gave me every opportunity to build a career before I left.
Yeah, and I'm kind of joking with you about the SID portion, but in Division II and III, SID is also pretty much game manager, and everything that happens you are responsible for at the game. So if you're going to learn how to run an athletic department, you're already doing it, because you know how everything works and where the chairs come from, and how to call the custodian, and what the electrician's number is when the lights go out, and all of that.
I know. And that's why I have a love for that position. I value those guys. John Painter. We are so lucky to have him. He is a legend in his field, and talk about being in the right place at the right time for him and I to work together. I feel so happy to have him. Our coaches love him, and our staff.
I love him.
The community. I know Troy and him have hit it off. They're BFFs over here.
William Blunt Tennis certainly has benefited from the Painter family over the years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go into this, and maybe we need to mute Mike down there. You were talking to me before we came on the air that home game football going to come on the field. It's not going to be the garnet uniforms.
No. So I don't know if anybody saw the story this week. So one of the main things I heard from our football alumni since I've been here is, why don't we have orange uniforms? Our colors are orange and garnet. Why don't we have orange uniforms? And so Coach Fox, he heard the same thing too, and he was starting to meet with alums. And so when we made the switch to Nike, we we got orange uniforms. We unveiled them to the team this week. They were blown away by them. So we are going to roll out on Saturday against Barry. First game in our new orange uniforms. Our colors are orange and garnet, and so we don't know when the last time. We can't find because pictures are in black and white from the old days, so we don't know if they were in orange or not. But we can't find when the last time they actually wore orange uniforms were. So I think our alums are thrilled. I think they'll be thrilled if they haven't seen them yet when we come out next week in those orange uniforms, just for the tradition. And so I hope they're happy with it. Next year we'll get a new garnet. But yeah, we've eliminated any other colors than orange and garnet and white from our uniform colors because we are traditionalist.
Well, I for one am excited that we have got the
I'm
orange
excited.
back.
Yeah.
I'm excited. There's a tradition. Coach, we got hope.
Oh, yeah. We
got
some
hope.
orange somewhere.
Should we-
Tradition is live and well at
If we throw-
Maryville College.
If we throw a descriptor in there, it's when Mike trips over. If we call it tartan orange, he'll go ballistic. But if we
And
just go with
we've-
orange,
We've brought the tartan back too. Our helmets are going to feature the tartan in them this year. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. Sorry, Coach Fox. But yeah, they will have the tartan. They'll
Troy,
have
you
the
didn't hear
tartan.
that.
Yeah, don't write a story on that yet,
Didn't
Troy.
say,
Don't write a story.
didn't say
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming in because this is your last Saturday before everything goes
no-
out the window
no
with
problem. Yeah.
athletics every Saturday all weekend long.
Yeah.
We'll say if you haven't had a chance to go over to the college and it's been kind of hard to go watch a game the last few years, everything's open now. You can go. You can go buy a
please,
ticket and go
please.
watch the Scots play. Football's always exciting. Lots going on campus. Coach Fernandez is going to have the soccer team out there again, and that's all great facility. One of the best you're going to find in the South for watching soccer is down there at Maryville College. But we appreciate you coming and spending the time with us
Thank
and
you
sharing
so
the
much.
news.
Yeah, appreciate
I've
it.
been joking with Sarah that people who haven't been there for 2 years aren't going to recognize the place because they're spending money like it's Tennessee over there at Maryville College.
I didn't know they were spending $1 million for homecoming opponents.
Oh no, not that. We're not there yet. Yeah,
But
not
anyway,
there.
we appreciate you coming in. We wish all the best of luck. And, anytime you got some of this big news, feel free to come by and stop
thank
in
you.
and
We
let us know
will,
what's
we
going
will.
on.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much.
we'll give you the shout and say, tell John Painter we said hi. We know he's working this morning.
Yeah.
Now, you
Thank
got
you.
Barry College coming in?
We do. We
Are-
open up with Barry
Are
College.
you paying them $1 million and a half to come in
No.
here in that home opener? Or?
We are not. We are not. We're hoping those orange jerseys provide us a little bit of luck, on opening weekend.
Yeah.
So
Good to see you.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
Hey, we'll
guys.
take a time out here, and when we return, Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo Heron announces the Blount County Player of the Week. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, Blount County Sports Voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensonTire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service. For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Player of the Week segment featuring Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo Heron. Troy, before you get started there, I want to put a plug in for the Blue Tick Tavern there. This is our home field.
It is.
You know, it's our home field, and it's been our home field. And, Donnie, you can comment too, but we've been here a long time, and really Lon Herbert, you know, put us way back in the day.
He did.
Put us up to getting us here. And
he said, this would be a good place to go.
Yeah,
they have really good food. Good place to be.
They've been a great host, and they provide our lunch after the show, and we want to invite everybody to come in here and taste the pizza and all the other items on the menu, and great place to be for us on the the Goatee Sports page, but also a great place for everybody to hang out and get some good food.
That's right here at 128 Broadway.
Yeah.
Stop by.
Yeah. Okay, Troy.
Yes, and I am joined by the Heritage volleyball team, Heritage coach Jason Keeble, Melanie Morris, Haley Harnaker, and Kaylin Bradley. I knew I was going to forget it when I got here, but it's okay. And they're coming off of a fantastic week. They went 2-1, wins over Knoxville Catholic, and most importantly, a 4-set victory over Farragut in a district game Thursday night. And Coach, just how important is it to kind of get off to a good start in this district? Obviously, we talk all the time about how kind of murderer's row it is here, and everyone is a big one, but just to pick up that win over Farragut and get there, just how important was that?
I think just confidence-wise, it's good to get the season going. We've played a pretty tough schedule this far. We've played Nolensville, who won the state last year in AAA. We played Cleveland, who beat Nolensville in the tournament this last weekend. And we've got to see Dobbins, Bennett, and Science Hill, who usually we cross over with to get to that sub-state round or to creep into Murfreesboro. So we've got a good look at some teams, and I think with a good start, it's going to just give us some confidence going into next week. We've got, again, Beard and Hardin Valley coming in, and both of those will be tough matches. Luckily, they're at home. We've got a heavy home schedule this year, so I tell the girls all the time, it's set up good for us. We can get some momentum here early, then kind of take care of our home court. We'll be in a good position.
Me and you talked at the end of the district tournament last year about how much potential this team had going into the year, because you only graduated one senior last year in Sophie, and just what was kind of the off-season like, and how nice is it to see that maybe that belief that you had in them at the end of last season kind of paying off early this year?
Yeah, no, coming into this year, we only losing one senior. We've got, what is it with you guys, 13 juniors, 14?
13 or 14.
13 or 14 juniors. So we've got a lot of depth and some kids that could play at other programs and probably not come off the floor. And then we've had Kaylin came to us from Jeff County this year and has been a good addition, probably leading us offensively. And then we also got a kid from Colorado that came in the first day of school, and we threw her in the middle, and she's a starter. So, add the depth that we had coming back and a couple newcomers. And right now it's about finding the right mix, the right chemistry, and because we played several different lineups and given a lot of kids chances, and it's just about finding out what works.
Melanie, Haley, just kind of what was the biggest thing y'all took away from that district tournament loss a year ago, and just kind of what was for y'all the kind of the motivating factor this off season?
Go ahead. I would say just realizing how much we need to stick together and play with energy, because that was the main thing that took us out most of the games last year in district.
Melanie, when you play in this type of district, obviously like I said, everything matters, because you just you can win or lose in any of these games because of how good everybody is. Just is there a certain level of mindset y'all have to have going into a season, knowing that every game kind of matters in that regard?
Yeah, I'd say there is. Like, we have to be ready to all work together and play as a team, because if we don't, then it won't work.
Kaylin, making the switch over from Jefferson County to here, you enter a much harder district, and kind of where the competition level ramps up. Just how much has that been an adjustment for you?
It's been a lot easier than I expected it to. The coaches obviously have been very helpful, making me feel comfortable, and the team obviously, they've really supported me, so I feel like it's been a lot easier than I expected. But the competition is definitely a lot harder down here, so I'm excited to play that.
Jason, in regards to this area and this district, you and Coach Hames over at Maryville have kind of led this charge of these just grueling schedules for the year. Just kind of take me through kind of the idea of why you feel like from game 1 to game 30 it's important to test the girls kind of at every day.
For me, we just like to compete, and I know the Hames does too. You know, their daughters and all this. We're all going to be watching matches. They're playing this week. College volleyball started yesterday, so that's kind of the mindset that we've got with this area. You know, we've got a lot of local kids that have talent. And, Mel just committed to ETSU here a week or two ago. So, we'll be watching her next year. They're opening up in Gainesville this weekend, so she could be playing Florida, sometime next year. So it's getting these kids prepared to go in and day out in a college environment. Plus just the competition factor. We all kind of crave that, and like Kaylin kind of mentioned, it's tougher here in this area. So practices have got to be harder. Attention to details got to be a little bit more. And I think it'll just pay off not only on the court, but say they enter the workforce or go. They're used to competing, and that's what we want to get them here as a mindset of let's compete. Whether you're at the job, whether you're continue your volleyball career, or whatever it is, because life is it's not going to be handed to you. We're going to have to work for some things. So giving them that work ethic, I think, will benefit them long term.
Melanie, what do you think the benefit is to, on any random Tuesday you could be playing a team that played in the state tournament a year ago as opposed to just playing, somebody else, but you kind of always having to be on your toes. What do you think the benefit of that is?
It's more fun, first of all. It keeps us competing at a high level, and it makes everything just more exciting, I guess.
Haley, 2 of your 3 losses this year are to teams that played in the state tournament that y'all kind of hope to be in come October. Just what did you kind of learn from those losses to Nolensville and Cleveland, and kind of make sure that you're in their shoes come state tournament time?
I would say it does have to do with our energy again. It's we kind of need to stick together as a team and play together as a whole rather than a person, and that's just something that we have gotten better at. And I think that helps a lot, wanting to compete, just wanting to be best friends with each other.
Kaylin, Coach mentions this big roster and all this depth y'all have. Just kind of what was that like going into join this team this year and kind of competing for a spot on the floor, and just kind of how did you kind of battle with that?
Yeah, I tried to just keep a positive mindset, because I tried to know that I'm a consistent-ish player. I know what I need to do, and I know when I need to do it. So I just try to keep that in mind, and I know that all these other girls are wanting to play in the spot as well. I just need to work at it and keep consistent.
Coach, how do you kind of handle those rotations and all that stuff when you have so many players? Is it difficult for you to kind of try and get girls playing time here and there and all that stuff?
Well, no, high school, that's JV stuff. In high school, it's who can do your job. I said, when you get out there and you get the chance, your number's called, do your job. And I think it benefited us too this year. We, before COVID, we would always go to Coastal Carolina for a team camp. Coach Collins, who I assisted, kind of started that. we did that for 5-6 years. Well, COVID kind of hit, and we couldn't go to dorms, and so we didn't go to camp for 2 years. But this past year, I took them down to South Alabama, where my daughter's playing at, and we got to hang out with her. She was there, or kind of lead coach through the camp, and we actually won the team camp in South Alabama. But being able to watch them compete down there, and I've tried several different lineups and kids on. We got to eat in the cafeteria together, kind of watch them grow from that late July into the season. I think that helped me a lot to be able to kind of see, well, who can do what and who can handle maybe pressure and who can't. But I think that was a good start. We plan on continuing to keep taking those trips because those off-season does help.
Jason, you're a few years removed from that state tournament appearance a few years ago, and I believe some of your seniors probably were freshmen or sophomores when they were there. Just what is maybe the hunger of this program to kind of get back to that level?
I've told a lot of people around us that, as a coach, you kind of know when you've got a shot. And I said preseason, this is one of those teams. I've had 3 or 4 teams since I've been there in the last 7-8 years. Like, okay, legitimately, we got a shot to get out and do something. And told them while we were in South Alabama, I said, you got something, you do something special here. Like they all say, the energy, I can't control that. I can't control, some of the other, do we talk to each other? It's going to be, all right, you guys bring the energy, we'll give you the game plan, and as long as we execute, I think they do have a good shot being there. Farragut kind of put us out of the district the last 2 years, and we just beat them 3-1. And obviously, when the district tournament comes around, I'm sure we'll probably have to roll through them again. So hopefully it'll give us a little confidence in that we've seen them and played them, and that we'll be prepared. And win the right games in October. I always say, give me that one sub-state match and give me that opportunity, and that's all you ask for. And good things hopefully will happen.
Haley, is there a pressure that kind of comes with, your coach? I know y'all really want that expectation on you, but is there a pressure with your coach kind of believing like, hey, this is what y'all are capable of, you're capable of going that far, and you kind of have to remind yourself of that every day in practice and stuff like that?
I think it's more of it's more on us and pressure from people. We have to be able to play the game ourselves, because a coach can only do so much. I mean, he's a great coach, but we have to be able to play ourselves and get to that level on our own.
Yeah. Melanie, I like to ask this question almost every time volleyball teams come in here, because I think when you look at volleyball in this area, so much of its ascension has become because of K2 and its kind of impact on the area of volleyball. Just what do you think it's kind of led to, and how much do you think that club has kind of elevated the play all around here?
It definitely has, 100%. That's why our district is so good, because majority of these girls playing at these schools are from K2. And so it's exciting, and it makes it, better competition, because usually you go from club to high school, and it's high school's a little slower or whatever, but in our district, it's not, and it's constant competition and, good games.
Jason, from people who haven't seen y'all's team play this year, just kind of maybe what are the biggest differences from last year's team, and kind of what's the excitement in terms for you just of what y'all kind of do well from a volleyball standpoint?
To have success, we focus from the get-go. It's the little things. Everybody, you watch volleyball as a casual fan, especially in high school. You see the big hit or a big block here or there, but it's just like football. I watched high school football last night. A lot of it's the attention to detail. For us, success, can we pass the ball? And that kind of starts with Mel in the bro position, kind of the back line, controlling the first contact. And once that's done, do we handle the easy balls? I keep preaching that. When we get a free ball, we get something where the play's busted on the other side, you have to be able to capitalize on that. Because a lot of games are going to go down to a 22, 21 game, and then those last 4 or 5 points usually boil down to fundamentals, whether it's getting a serve in out of a timeout or passing a free ball, or scheme-wise, what we're doing blocking. Do we blow that? I think that's important.
Well, we want to thank y'all for coming and visiting us this morning. Thank you for waking up so early and coming to see us. We appreciate that. And we'll toss it back to you, Mike.
Thank you, Troy. Time for a break. And when we return, it's the sports headlines with Donnie Moore and the Goatee Sports Page Spotlight. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County.
Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union. With KTBA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
The Blue Tick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, and it's time for the sports headlines with Donnie Moore. And Donnie Moore, before you get started, I want to talk a little bit about, just a second, about Anderson Lumber Company, who's been a long-time sponsor on this show.
Oh, they have. No kidding.
And my wife and I have built 2 houses here in Blount County, and all those materials on those houses came from Anderson Lumber Company.
There you go.
Quality.
One-stop shopping.
Quality supplies, quality lumber, great people. We want to recommend everybody go to Anderson Lumber Company for all their building supplies and lumber needs.
And as somebody who handles the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week for all the years prior to this one, I really appreciate all that they've done for local high school athletics here.
Great folks out there.
Yeah.
Okay, Donnie.
Sure are. Thank you, Mike. Well, Alabama head football coach Nick Saban received a 1-year extension to his contract and a raise in salary this week, as if he needed it. His new contract runs through February of 2030, at which point Saban will be, you guessed it, 78 years old.
He's not 70 yet?
Well, he's getting close. Asked this week if he would still be here throughout the remainder of his contract extension. Saban answered, "Still alive? I sure plan to be here coaching."
Yeah.
It's a dramatic change at Alabama because most of them believe that if you're good in life, when you die, you go live with Bear Bryant's house in heaven.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to.
But now, I think there's a significant number that are going to believe they go live with St. Nick in heaven.
Yeah, you got it. Well, Mike, Eric Almirola, who had planned to retire from full-time cup racing after this season, has done an about-face and signed a multi-year agreement to remain at Stewart-Haas Racing. Sponsor Smithfield Foods has also signed a multi-year agreement to stay with SHR. Next year will mark the 12th consecutive season Smithfield has partnered with Almirola, who is 38 years old. He is the driver of the number 10 Smithfield Ford Mustang. By the way, Mike, NASCAR will celebrate its 75th anniversary next season. 2023. It was formed in 1948. Man, there's lots of history and great drivers in that 75 years.
Yeah. And considering, they started out running moonshine and down there on
the beach in
at
Daytona.
Daytona Beach.
Yeah.
They've come a long way.
Haven't they, though?
From those days.
They sure
really
have.
I'm glad he's back
I am
next
too.
year.
He's a good driver.
And that sponsorship probably didn't hurt him at all.
Absolutely
either, as far as
not.
Coming back.
Big corporation, Smithfield.
Yeah. Good news there.
Yeah, indeed. What'd you say, Ray?
I bet they had more fun there on the beach than
Running that shine. I bet they did, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they don't have NASCAR on the beach anymore, but they still got cars down there.
They sure
Mike,
do.
Mike, what tasted better, the moonshine or the Ray Trail cigar?
Oh my gosh, that's a no-brainer.
I'm telling you right now, Coach Trail. For most of you listeners, his motto or whatever, and what he's known for, he's got a cigar in his mouth, but he never lights it.
No,
And
he just chews on it.
I had a Coke in here this morning, starting out, and when I was looking away, he put the cigar in my Coke, and I took a drink of that. I'm not recommending tobacco and Coke in any way.
No.
Maybe rum and Coke,
Yeah.
or maybe Bacardi.
Or Jack and Coke.
Or Jack and Coke, but that tobacco and Coke, I'm a little white under the gills right now, Coach Trail.
Yeah.
I owe you one, buddy.
He looks kind of peaked over here, folks.
I'm hoping he did it while it was streaming, so that I can go clip it up and I can.
Lord,
I thought he looked kind of slow this morning, so I thought I'd give him a little.
I'm going to go get one of those nicotine patches.
Yeah, you need to.
Can we call that the Gunner Green uniform?
Yeah, I told him to take the rest of that drink home to Sandy and see further on. Huh?
Sandy may shoot him for that.
Oh, man.
Well, Brian Rice was announced this week as the new radio play-by-play announcer for Lady Vols basketball. Rice, a Knoxville native and UTK graduate, will handle radio broadcasts of Lady Vols games and host the Kelly Harper TV show. Rice has served as the radio play-by-play announcer for Lady Vols softball for the past 10 years and is a co-host of the Eric Ains Show on local Knoxville radio.
Hey, you were up for that job, weren't you? You were up for that job, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
I thought you wanted that one.
No, I don't want a job.
He's got a job.
He's got a job.
He's with us.
That's not what Ray's agent told me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you've heard the saying, those who can't teach, or in this case, coach, they coach, okay? Those who can't. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to do that again. Those who start over right there.
Those who can't.
Hey, those who can
He drank the cigar too.
I'm up there.
Take some of that. Take some of this tobacco and Coke. That'll get you on
Let
right.
me do that again. Those who can't teach, or in this case, coach. Okay? But in this case, Team USA has themselves a hitting coach who can. I'm speaking of course, Ken Griffey Jr., a hitter with one of the sweetest swings ever.
Prettiest one.
Yep, you got it. In 22 Major League seasons, Jr. racked up 2,781 hits and 630 homers. On top of that, Griffey brings World Baseball Classic experience to the table, as he was a member of Team USA in the inaugural WBC back in 2006. Jr. joins an all-star group of coaches, including manager Mark DeRosa and pitching coach Andy Pettit. Some of the team's players scheduled to participate for the U.S. after a 6-year hiatus are Captain Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, Cedric Mullins, Paul Goldschmidt, Pete Alonso, Trevor Story, Nolan Arenado, and JT Realmuto. Team USA won the WBC in 2017 by shutting out Puerto Rico 8-0. After an 11-day trial, Vanessa Bryant plans to donate proceeds from the $16 million judgment she won Wednesday in a lawsuit versus Los Angeles County to a foundation named for her husband, Kobe Bryant, and daughter, Gianna. The nonprofit Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation offers sports education to underserved athletes. Kobe and Gianna were killed in a January 2020 helicopter crash. That's pretty admirable.
Yeah.
The Little League World Series American
go.
Championship is tonight.
Nolensville,
In Williamsport, Pennsylvania, it's David versus Goliath. Nolensville, Tennessee versus Hawaii. The losers bracket champions, Nolensville, they came out of the losers bracket versus the undefeated Hawaii team. It was a 13-0 previous meeting. Nolensville got blanked by Hawaii. They got to face them again tonight. What do you think?
Hawaii
Marcus?
is just so strong. I mean,
Man, that team is good.
I mean, those pitchers have not even had to work a full game
No.
really yet because their hitting has just been so phenomenal that they haven't had to work.
Have they checked those guys' birth certificates?
You know,
We don't start that around here, Donnie. We
When
don't
you-
look up those certificates.
I tell you what.
when you throw coconuts
I
your
tell you-
entire life, a baseball's real easy
Oh,
to throw.
Lord.
I tell you
Man,
what,
those guys are good.
and they're big. It's
They are big.
They got one guy about 6'2". I'm
I'm just going to say this. I am
watch
all
'em.
for Nolensville, and even if they don't
I am
pull it
too.
off,
It'd be sweet.
even if they don't pull it off, the last time Middle Tennessee put a team in the College Little League World Series, they had such a good run, and we saw those kids 4 years later, and they were all over the state tournament with different high school teams, but they were a phenomenal group, and I hope this group does the same thing in 4 years, where
I
we have
do
just
too.
a phenomenal state baseball
I do too.
tournament.
They've had a great run. Those guys, that's a good team too.
Yeah.
And the sportsmanship in this Little League World Series has been phenomenal.
I think they've learned a lot because this has been fairly dramatic. We've had big plays, we've had heartbreak, we've had just tough losses, and the kid, they're kids. They actually still just shake it off and just seem to
They
go
do.
right on. Which I think you watch the stands, the cameras in the background. Mom and Dad may not be real happy,
No,
but the
Mom and
kids
Dad-
are doing great.
You better believe it. I've watched several games in this World Series, and I'm just so impressed with these kids.
Yeah.
And
the
it's been a great
sportsmanship.
series.
The
That's what I
sportsmanship.
said.
The kid gets hit in the head. Remember, he got hit
Yeah.
in the head, and he goes to first base, and the pitcher goes over there. I mean,
It was the guy went from first base to the pitcher. The pitcher was just devastated that he'd hit this kid. They were friends anyway.
Right.
and he got out of the game. The pitcher did. They took him
that
out
was
the next series.
That was a great. Because
Because he
video
couldn't shake
went
it
viral
off.
anyway.
He couldn't shake it off.
No. You're not going to see that in the major leagues.
No,
very much.
absolutely.
Huh?
But this has been a great series, and no matter who wins tonight, I'm Nolensville all the way.
Yeah,
I'm for these guys.
It's become an international deal, the Little League
It
World
has.
Series. It's always been kind of international,
Yeah.
but you got teams from all over the world now.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, I think they played the U.S. Championship first today.
Yeah,
and
what's
then
the international final?
International follows, and then they'll play each other, right? On
Yes. Who's in the international side?
I believe it's Taiwan, and I can't pronounce the other team's name.
Yeah.
Is it Curacao?
Yes.
Yeah, it is Curacao, isn't it?
It's always.
I had trouble with that word.
It's always Curacao.
Yeah, there's.
I just have trouble saying that one right.
Yeah. Well,
Nolensville, I mentioned it to Donnie the other day, they beat Hagerstown. Hagerstown's out of Indiana, real small
Yeah.
town, and famous for a smorgasbord. Hagerstown.
I don't think it's
and
about 2,000 people in the town.
And caramel candy is what they're famous for. The first
like
the
caramel.
first basketball
Ooh,
game that
I
I ever
like that
played, the
stuff.
first high school basketball game that I ever played as a freshman on the varsity was at Hagerstown. We played them every year in football and basketball. And both of us were Tigers. Both teams were Tigers. But I got a kick out of them, being in the World Series. I knew where that was at. So it's good to see some of these smaller towns get in there. It's good for them.
Oh, that's great publicity for the sport. Well, that's all I got for headlines, Mike.
Okay.
Back to you for the spotlight.
All right, let's talk about before I get into realignment a little bit here. I want to get everybody's predictions on the year. I think we're pretty well in agreement. We're going to beat Ball State. Tennessee's going to beat Ball
we
State on
should.
Thursday. We're looking real good there. I'm going to start with Coach Trail over here. Of course, Charlie Palaio's not here with us. He'd have the Vols at 12-0 or 11-1.
Oh, easily. Yeah. I know he's listening right now, so I'm sure he'll text me his prediction by the end of the segment.
We probably ought to call him and get his prediction. Coach Trail, what do you think on the year?
He's about to be the most.
And before you go any further, I think the winner ought to have a tobacco. We'll give the winner a tobacco and Coke drink.
Put that in the fridge. We'll break it out in January.
Cocktail.
Tobacco and Coke cocktail.
Ray's about to be the most pessimistic person in Tennessee right here.
Now, I'm gonna say with the schedule, I'm gonna say 7-5.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Well, that's okay.
We're just doing regular season. Yeah, we'll just do regular.
Yeah, let's do regular season. Troy?
I'll lose to Georgia and Alabama. Tennessee's gonna lose one they shouldn't. I'm gonna say 9-3.
9-3. Marcus?
5-7.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
5-7?
Everybody's seen this offense.
How much of this is he drunk? Huh?
I'm just saying, everybody's seen this offense for a year. They've got a year's worth of tape to look at this offense.
5-7?
You're not going to be able to walk around the
And
Knoxville.
who you're playing in the West? You know, last year it was like playing the wing tee, but this year you've got some of those West teams. Alabama's going to see this offense 3 times: Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State.
I agree
It's
with
not.
that.
It's their teams that have seen enough tape to
I
get
don't
advantage.
understand this, Marcus. Why is our hurry up offense different than Ole Miss or anybody else's?
I mean, it's got
all you
different
can do is
wrinkles,
line
but
up.
Got some different stuff.
I
It's
mean,
different stuff, but at the same time, that fast
different
pace is
passing
not a
concepts.
novel.
I mean, they
basically the
call
only
it
difference.
fast pace, but everybody does it.
Right.
You know,
Nobody does it like
It's
they
just
do
the
it. but
different passing concepts within it that are a little bit different, and it varies from school to school. I wouldn't say it's tremendously different from.
But
like, Ole
everybody's
Miss to Tennessee.
most of these teams are going to line up fast 2 or 3 times this
Yeah.
year. I don't think it's going to have the effect it did last year.
No, I that's what I was saying. It's no longer a
So
new
I may be
thing.
the most unpopular pessimist
Oh,
in Knoxville,
man.
but I'm saying 5-7.
Man,
It's your opinion.
Man, that's
Make it yours. There
boy.
you go.
He's making Coach Trail look real good, isn't he? I mean, at 5
Well,
and
go on to
7.
Donnie. I mean, he's
Donnie?
probably
What do you got?
follow with the ray of sunshine.
What
Yeah,
did
what do you
we?
got?
What was our regular season record last year?
7-6. Oh, 6-6. No, 7-5.
7-5 on the year. Now, Charlie would say this year we're going 10-2. That's what
or
Charlie's
11-1.
gonna say. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be a little more optimistic than I was last year.
What'd you say last year?
Last year I said 7-5, 7-5.
Okay.
Yeah. This year I'm going to say 8-4.
8-4.
So are we still playing Price is Right rules? You got to be closest without going over. Is that?
Yeah. We'll play off the ties in the bowl game.
Yeah.
You know, we'll play
Oh,
the ties
yeah.
off. I'm going to go. I tell you what, this was a little hard for me, but I'm looking back here.
I think we're going to win
at
one
that,
that we should.
At that record against Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, you know, until they can prove to me that they can beat one of those. I mean, they're 1-34. That Tennessee's 1-34 against those 3 teams lately. I mean, those are just horrible numbers. And then they lost to a Purdue team in the Music City Bowl. That didn't impress me at all. I was thinking 9-3, but I'm gonna go 8-4.
You're going to back it off one.
8-4. So it looks like Donnie, you and me are the most. Well, no, Troy's 9-3, and then you and I, Donnie, are 8-4.
Yeah.
And Coach
I'm
Trail
9-4. What did I say?
You're
You said
7-5.
7-5.
7-5. Yeah,
7-5. So
I tell you what, I don't know if we can beat Kentucky. That everybody, you know, you talk about
Kentucky's Kentucky.
Kentucky's Kentucky.
Kentucky can't beat us.
Well, they had us beat last year.
yeah. Well,
If the referee doesn't call that a
Had and did are two very, very different
hey,
things.
I'll tell you, if you've got Alabama, Georgia, and Florida on there, and the best bet right there would be to beat Florida. You know, if you don't beat Florida this year, but if it holds true with what's been happening in the past, and you lose those 3 games, and I'm saying somebody's probably going to upset you.
Oh yeah,
Somebody probably in there. It could be Kentucky. It could be
LSU.
That's where I'm at 8
Well, they got to
4.
play LSU at LSU.
I don't think with this fan base, I don't think they're gonna accept anything less than an 8-4 with all the hype they've built into this thing this year.
Well, I don't care about what
a one-win improvement. I don't think our fans will improve.
I do think 8-4 is the expectation, the minimum expectation.
Yeah, you might get by with an 8-4 if you beat one of those 3 teams:
Yeah.
Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. If you lose all 3 of those, I'm telling you, it's.
Well, I'll tell you what. You throw in Kentucky and South Carolina's not going to be a push.
No.
I mean.
No, we like Shane Beamer, but I don't know. He's got his sunglasses on. He looks like
Troy
Phil.
think-
He
Troy
looks
thinks
like
he has a funny
he looks
smile.
like Phil Spector, but he doesn't like South Carolina. But I tell you what, with Rattler at quarterback, I'm liking South Carolina a little bit here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You look at the quarterback at Kentucky and turn around in South Carolina.
There may not be a person in the country who's as low on South Carolina as I am. They're not going to be good.
And I think the unknown is LSU because
yeah.
it didn't look like they had.
It didn't matter. LSU could line up 11 slugs, and if you're playing in Death Valley, it's a tough game.
I know, but they went out and got all of those
they
transfer
got
portal
transferred,
kids.
yeah.
And you don't know anything about
All
them.
I'm saying it was hard enough to have to go down there in the first place. And that's going to be a tough game.
Yep. Let's move on here. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about realignment. The Big Ten kind of threw everything in a quandary.
Well, the SEC did first.
Yeah, well, they adding UCLA and Southern California, and UCLA getting a lot of play out there as far as, their commitment. I don't know how that's going to play out, but right now UCLA and Southern Cal are going to be going to the Big Ten, and it's almost unbelievable to me, Coach Trail, that the Big Ten is now from the East Coast to the West Coast. When I was growing up, it was just right there in the Midwest, and really there were some pretty good football teams up there.
Yeah.
Michigan State was pretty good there for several years, and
Duffy Daugherty.
and Purdue always had good quarterbacks, and they were very competitive.
Yeah.
Ohio State, but and Notre Dame would play those Big Ten schools, which made it even more interesting. But now they're virtually East Coast to the West Coast. It's really all about money, isn't it? It's all about money and exposure and
That's
TV,
all.
isn't it? Pretty much.
That's
by
all
God,
it is.
Think of the travel expense, and think of UCLA out there with all of the tradition they have. What gets lost in all this is other sports. UCLA's tradition has been in basketball and the national championships they won with John Wooden, and here they are going to move to the Big Ten. What's that going to do? What's that going to do with the tradition of some of the other sports?
We just had Sarah on this morning talking about what happens when you get a conference of that size. When they had 18 teams and how impossible it is to manage. And that was a fairly compact conference that was stretching Virginia to Alabama. You're talking about coast to coast. I mean, that's one thing with football in one game a year. I mean, your conference basketball schedule, your conference baseball schedule. Yeah. I mean, those are going to be almost impossible to manage. When you break in those divisions, I mean, you're restructuring so much that it's just going to not only be lost, but it's going to become very expensive, prohibitively expensive.
I know I say this a lot, and Brian Johnson probably has to make me a shirt that just has this quote on it. But it's not. Every time we get an example, it's just not about the kids, and we've given up on that ideal. A long time ago, this organization has given up on that deal. As you talk about baseball, can you imagine a Maryland having to go play UCLA on the weekend and then have to come back and go to school on Monday? It's impossible.
School? What school?
Yeah,
that's
what my wife keeps asking. Said, are they talking about academics anymore?
It's not about the kids.
That's what
It's
I'm
not about
saying.
anything,
I mean,
man.
what school?
Yeah.
I mean, the school is just that's just our ground place.
And that's a big change for us when you coached and you played. You played at Arkansas. I played at Tennessee. And when we got our scholarships, we really met our goals because that's what we were in high school for, was just to get a scholarship to have our education paid for. And when we got that, we achieved. We weren't thinking about playing pro sports or money at that time. It was just going to school, wasn't it, Coach? That's all. That's all forgotten now.
And let's call it what it is. The SEC and the Big Ten are currently playing a game of Risk. They're going for world domination. That's all it is.
But I think if you're going to put it that way, they've made the wrong move because they jumped to Kamchatka too soon. Because when you're going to make that kind of there's no identity left in that conference. When it comes to watching that Big Ten network, there's not identity left because Maryland, UCLA, USC. Those are not. It's going to take years for those to ingrain as part of being part of that conference. There's no. Whereas the SEC, you can identify with Texas and Oklahoma because they fit in, and you've got maybe a school or two in the ACC that could eventually flush it out. But I think the Big Ten's gone too far, too fast, the wrong way because there's not. You might as well just say we're just going to take whoever the best that will come play with us.
Marcus, that deal that they've just cut, 7 years with I guess Fox, CBS, and NBC beginning in July of 2023. 7 years at $7 billion. You think about, and I guess that they're going to take away the SEC's 3:30 game. That's been on CBS for years.
Oh yeah.
But here's the other deal. Don't think these players aren't watching all that. Players at these schools now are They're in the game now, and they're looking at this and going, well, NIL deals. Players now they want to share in this revenue. My golly, if you're getting $7 billion, we want we're the guys out there generating the numbers and the money for you. We want a share of this. So. Troy, you tell me where that's going, because that's going to be on the table with all this too.
I mean, I agree with them to a certain extent, but look, if you really want my Troy Provo Heron conspiracy theory and all this, I think the name Big Ten and SEC are just placeholders. I think in a decade, both of those conferences they'll try and eat up as many big name programs as they can, and they'll secede from the NCAA.
Yep,
that's the direction they're going.
So basically, we're talking about contract $1 billion a year. Divided among, 16 teams now?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about money,
that's not even going
though.
to cover your travel expense.
Well, let me ask you this. What in the world, how much money do you make? We're paying a team $1 million, or how much are we paying?
$1.5 million.
$1.5 million.
And we bought teams out for $2 million.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we paid $2 million to buy BYU out of the game.
Yeah,
I mean, they just gave Nick Saban $30 million.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but to sit here and say that college football and college athletics don't have the money, it's a lie. They got more money than
it's a pro. It's a pro program.
That's absurd.
They got more money than they know what to do.
Well, they have the money now. The
They're
thing
always
is,
gonna have the money.
you can kill the cow. You can mismanage this right out of being the market that it is for college football. If you oversaturate it and you break up the games that people are really interested in, and you start losing that fan base, it's not going to be worth as much.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball contracts are not worth what it could be.
Yep.
Simply because of the mistakes the league has made over the last 20
Marcus,
years.
there's still a golden egg out there. And Troy doesn't like for me to go there, but the Notre Dame Fighting Irish is the golden egg out there.
They are still.
They are in play right now. Both the SEC and the Big Ten would both like to have Notre Dame, but right now they're wanting to keep their independent status. They've been independent forever in football, and they've got their television contract and so forth. But I've always asked, because I grew up with it in the Midwest, and they practically played a Big Ten schedule. Yeah. When I grew up, they played Purdue, they played Michigan State, they played Northwestern, and I can go on and on, Wisconsin. I don't know. I've never understood why they haven't gone to the Big Ten. But where are they going to land? What are they going to do, Marcus?
I hope they stay right there in the middle and get hit by traffic in both directions.
Play both leagues, huh?
I mean, you can play half and half, and you can play around with the ACC, and you can get your marquee games, and you're still going to end up getting upset by Navy the way they play.
I think ultimately, if what I think will actually happen is there are essentially 4 golden eggs still in Notre Dame, Florida State, Miami, Clemson, some big-name programs. But I will say this. If Notre Dame decides, hey, we don't want to be a part of any of that, the Big Ten and SEC leave and they go do their own college football thing, Notre Dame could be the big fish in a small pond. They could finally win something, right?
They could take the whole deal.
They could win something.
But what I'm being concerned about, all these conferences, a lot of them is going to go to 9 games. I think the Big Ten's always 9 games. Notre Dame, the scheduling may come back to haunt them because they may have trouble getting games. Troy.
Yeah,
quality games.
I agree.
Well, but it helps them because, USC and UCLA are going to be out there anyway. They might as well stay the week and play Notre Dame the following week.
If you're an SEC team and you go to 9 games, do you want to put a Notre Dame on your schedule?
No,
you see, that's a Big Ten at 9. I don't know,
Right.
but that may come back to haunt. Hey, it's time for a break, and when we return, it's Hot Takes with Troy and Marcus. You're listening to the Go Tees sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at StevensonTire.net.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the panel's bowl predictions this week. And we've got Troy Provo-Heron, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Coach Ray Trails back in, Donnie Moore, and myself. And before we get started, I want to say put a plug in for Go Tees, Donnie, because by God, Brian Johnston was in here this morning, and he was helping us set up and get started, and he's heading up to Townsend for the Jeep deal they got going on up there, and then he's going up to the Smokies game tonight. He's active, isn't
I'm telling you, man.
He
I don't know when he has time to sleep.
Well, he doesn't. He works so hard he stresses me out.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate all they do for this
We
show.
sure do.
So,
And you mentioned it, but the Smokies are down to 2 series left.
Yeah, they got 2 home series left.
Tonight is UT night. Come and see me if you want to. I'll be in attendance.
I've been hearing the bobblehead promos everywhere, but
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
I want one of the bobbleheads now.
Tonight is Hendon Hooker bobblehead night, and I think in a couple days it's Trey Lipscomb bobblehead night.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, Troy, what do we got going here?
Oh, we're going to talk, season kicks off on Thursday. I wanted to go around and get everybody's playoff predictions. We did Tennessee. You got all those written down. I want to come here and talk about some playoff predictions and think, what do we think? I'm going to start with Marcus. I'm going to toss it to Marcus and 4 teams that make the playoff, and you can give me a national champion if you want to.
You want the bold pick, right?
If you want a bold pick.
Well, I'm going to be off the chart here. So I'm going to say Ohio State. I really feel like it's going to be Michigan, but I'm going to say Ohio State's going to be in there.
Wow.
I'm going to go with Oregon just because of the scheduling.
Okay.
Hey, you got Georgia. They're opening up against Georgia. You like Oregon?
That's where I'm going with this.
My God.
Alabama's the given.
He's doing bold predictions.
Alabama's a given. We know they're going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that a one-loss Ole Miss team that loses to Alabama is going to miss the SEC championship but be the fourth team in.
Listen to Marcus today. I'm telling you, he's on the ball today. He's on point.
No, I think he's off the point. On point.
But tell me mine's something more interesting
Ole
than-
Miss,
than the same
number
14.
4.
I like
No.
Lane.
Huh?
You don't like Lane?
I like Lane, but he lost his quarterback.
Yeah.
And guy
Right.
coming in, and I
Yeah, we said that about an LSU team a couple years ago too.
Yeah.
Look what happened with them.
And they had a guy who had 70 touchdowns.
But
well,
that's my pick.
That's
So give me one better. Give me your 4, Ray.
Yeah, Ray, come on. What do you got?
well, I mean, publicity has a whole lot to do with it. Alabama and Georgia are
Okay.
going to be in there. They're going to be in there, and I think
Both of them's got their quarterbacks back.
right, and I think Ohio State will be in there, and the fourth one is the wild card that somebody that you don't expect will be there. I don't know who that is.
Well, you're right about that.
But that's
Going with
just the way.
Cincinnati again?
Oh, my God.
I'm not going with Cincinnati, but I'm just saying I'm saving the 4 spot for a wild card that you never think about being there.
Well-
just like you're saying Ole Miss, I'm saying it could be anybody.
Okay. I'll go. I'm going to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide. I am going to say Ohio State. I'm going to say Georgia, and my 4th team is going to be interesting. I don't know why I think they're going to have a good year. They've given me no reason to think that they're going to have a good year, but I'm going to say Texas.
Well,
Texas loses one game to Alabama.
And you thought my Ole Miss was off the road.
Going with Texas.
Texas, that's from the
I don't.
outhouse
I know,
to the end.
and again, I don't really have. I
And
wanted.
the 4th is open. Now.
I wanted to
You
say.
know.
I wanted to say Texas A&M, but it's really hard for me to see 3 SEC teams
Kinda
getting
thought about
in.
that, too.
And so I'm going with Texas. I don't like the Pac-12 teams never getting in. As much as I'd like to think, the ACC is terrible, and so unless Clemson runs the table, I don't see it, and that leaves you with a team in the Big 12, and I think I like Texas.
That's why I said the 4th would just leave it open because you're going to have some wild
Well, it's
deal
called,
come in
well,
there.
Right, it's called bold predictions. It's not called safe predictions.
Well, okay, Texas. If you pick Texas,
You're going with Texas with me?
no, hell no.
Oh, I thought you were going. I thought we were gonna have some. I thought we were gonna have some camaraderie. We were gonna like hook
No,
up horns.
no.
You all had that moment last
I
week. You only get one of those this
I
season.
hate Texas. I fought
That's
them
true.
all the time in Arkansas. I don't want.
All right. So and then Alabama wins the national championship
Yeah.
because Alabama wins the national championship. Mike, what do you got for me?
I've got Alabama, I've got Ohio State, and I've got Georgia.
I think that's pretty consensus
Well,
right there.
that's the way everybody feels.
'Cause
And
I do too.
And I like them. Now they may not record-wise be in, but I think they'll
The 3
be the
best
best
teams
team.
in the country.
Now the fourth one,
Oh, here we go.
I'm going with Texas A&M.
All right. So you think
I'm
3
going-
SEC teams get in?
Well, who else is out there?
I agree with you.
Ohio State's the only one in the Big Ten,
I think-
and maybe the ACC, if Clemson,
Has
runs
to
the
win
deal,
it.
they might have
I
a
think
chance.
3
Now-
SEC teams are possible, and
Yeah.
I think it breaks
Thank
the
you.
playoff system.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think also,
I think it's very possible.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm going to put a wild card in here. I don't like it because they don't have a quarterback coming back, but they're loaded at other positions. And I know they're going into Columbus next Saturday to play Ohio State, and I know everything's going to be on the line there with Notre Dame. Now listen to me. Listen to me here and hear me out. If that game, and I don't expect them to win it, but let's say it's a close game and Notre Dame runs the table and the other 11, they're in.
Yeah,
They're in. If they lose a close game to
Yeah.
Ohio State and they run the table 11 straight and they finish 11-1,
Sure.
that's one of those 3 teams that I've got out of the SEC are out.
I mean,
Notre Dame's in.
sure.
I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't look for it to happen, but it could.
Good.
I mean, that's the biggest if. That's like if a meteorite hits us today, we're all dead.
I
Cool.
understand. I understand, and I didn't vote for them. I didn't vote for Notre Dame beating Tennessee over here in baseball when everybody had UT winning the College World Series either. But I'm just saying, and Coach Trail discussed it, big games in Notre Dame, everybody says, well, they're going into Columbus, and that place is going to be packed, and they got their quarterback. Notre Dame has been there before, Coach Trail. Hell, everybody said there a few years ago, they're going down to Georgia, and Georgia's going to clean their clock. They won by 3 points down there at Georgia. They thrive on, those schools thrive on big games and that attention.
Oh, yeah.
So
I agree
we'll
with
see. We'll see what happens, but I've got them as a long shot. Donnie Moore, I'm sorry to take up so much time.
Oh, it's okay. I'm kind of thinking like you do, Mike. And I was thinking when Marcus said something about Texas A&M, Troy said something about Texas A&M. That may be my fourth team too. I'm thinking they've got the recruit. They had a great recruiting year.
Yeah, they bought them all.
They sure did.
They bought everybody they could buy down there.
Gave them all their own oil well. So who knows? That may be my fourth team too.
Yeah.
I'm like everybody else on the first three.
And we say bought them. We're not trying to be smart alecks about it.
Absolutely not.
It's legal now.
NIL.
It's all legal.
Well, the one
Guys, do you think Carson Newman has a chance to make the playoffs?
Hey, there's our fourth team. Tony Iruli and the Carson Newman Eagles. There we go.
No love for Wisconsin from anybody here.
Yeah, no. We hadn't mentioned Wisconsin.
We're talking about three
Mentioned the
SEC
Badgers.
teams. We're not talking about the possibility of two Big Ten teams with Ohio State and Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Now,
but I don't
look,
like that.
you can't have three SEC teams in there
mean, you
because
can.
Let's get a prediction from Tony. Grab a headset.
Tony,
right
grab
there.
a headset.
somebody's going to get beat.
College football. Your four college football.
Alabama,
playoff-
Georgia games?
No, four college football playoff teams.
Okay.
And this is Tony Iruli, assistant football coach.
This
at
was
Carson
completely
Newman.
off the cuff.
Yeah.
We had no idea Tony was coming.
No, he just came in.
I just
off
came
the
out.
street.
Just heard you guys all the way.
He was out there looking for a meal, and he just happened to come in.
Great time. I say Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State.
That's your three.
And I think Clemson's going to run the table in the ACC.
There we go. Now he's
He's
going.
taking the
He's
one.
Dabo Swinney's best friend. Of course, he was going to say Clemson.
With an outside prediction of Notre Dame just to PO Troy off.
This is a setup.
Touchdown, Jesus.
How much did you pay Tony
How
to?
did Notre Dame do against Tennessee in baseball?
How much did you pay Tony to walk into this restaurant?
$1.5 million. $1.5 million.
That seems to be the goal.
Did I hit it right?
You did.
Oh man.
It's great seeing you guys.
Good to
Thank
see
you, Tony.
you.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Wisconsin's in that conversation.
Well, they're going to have to go through Ohio State.
Yes. Well,
and I don't know where Penn State is in that league either. I mean,
Michigan.
and Penn State's going to Auburn. They're going down to Auburn. As I say, they go down and beat Auburn, and they're going to get some. They're going to open against Purdue. Penn State's got to go to West Lafayette and play Purdue. It's going to be decent. We're going to know some stuff, here early.
I feel less good about.
That's the thing about trying to do this right now is
Who knows?
next week after Tennessee beats this team 64 to
You might think
10,
Tennessee's the best team in the country.
They may be, but they may be right up there at the top.
The thing is, I think Texas A&M is going to be a real good team too.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're in the SEC, and that would mean 3 from the SEC.
Yeah.
And
That's why I'm
plus
going
they're
for
in
that.
the West.
I want 3 from the SEC. Let's break this thing
I
because
think,
all those deals where they said we can't do it because the TV contracts are locked, and watch how fast those things unlock if they put 3 SEC teams.
Yeah, I want to see one of these Houstons or Cincinnati's. Or,
I feel less good about my Texas pick with
Bowling
every passing
Green.
minute, but I'm sticking with it.
There you
okay?
go.
I'm sticking
Stand
with
strong
it.
with it. Yes.
Yeah.
Donnie, send us home.
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the Goatee Sports Page. The best in local sports since 1978.
Donnie's supposed to blow the whistle and give Mike an announcement to close this show.
Hey, the final whistle's blown, and that'll do it for today's edition of the Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael at Loud Media, our host of the Blue Tick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For Donnie Moore, Charlie Paleo, Ray Trail, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Troy Provo Heron, and Dylan Davis, and Rusty Chambers. Until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports.